hour with the updates. And we begin now for the third night in a row. At least 2 rockets fired from Gaza were intercepted by Israel's Iron Dome defenses, with 3 other projectiles reportedly falling in open areas around the south. Now, just after midnight, in response, the Israeli military announced some new restrictions. We'll go to our correspondent in a moment to get the latest on that around Gaza. But this recent flare-up in tensions has been a play by Hamas, seemingly to rally support ahead of the Palestinian elections planned for a month from now. We'll discuss that as well. The unrest still ongoing in East Jerusalem all around Ramadan, currently this month. And now we're joined by Or Bar Ilan, a resident of Kibbutz Kfar Aza, where less than 1,000 people live just about a kilometer from the Gaza border. Thanks for being with us here. Now, we must begin with the truly personal here. How have these last 3 nights been for you, your family, your community?
As you can see, I'm still wearing my pajama because we weren't able to sleep at night for the past 3 nights. It's very tense for us. It's very frustrating because it's happening for the past 20 years, this ongoing terror attacks on our communities here.
And focus on the children for a moment. I know they receive a lot of the trauma. How do the kids deal with this? You mentioned 20 years now. How do the kids manage?
I heard about children that are going back to not being able to be alone, scared to sleep, having nightmares. And it's not just the kids, also for us, for the grown-ups. I'm very tense now. I'm actually working from home today because I can't take the chance for leave. I'm working in Beersheba, which is 40 minutes away, and I can't take the chance that there will be missile launching at my kibbutz, and then all the roads will be closed and blocked. So I'm staying at home today. That's part of our reality here.
As you mentioned, it's been a long-term reality there, but it's been coming after a year of some of the quietest that the area has seen in a long time. It appears that chapter's over. What are residents there? What are the people living so close to Gaza? What would you like to see happen? What's the solution in terms of how you see it from your perspective? They're so close to Gaza.
I'm sorry, there is a lot of noise behind me. People are still working and having their life. As you just said, for the past year, it's been quiet. So we're trying to live our normal life here. But by saying quiet, I have to say, we have tanks here. We have the soldiers here already ready to attack, and for their attack, the Gazans attack. So it's not really quiet. We're always tense here. Sorry for the noise behind me.
Of course, and Or Bar Ilan, appreciate your time with us, giving us this true reality view here, just so close to the Gaza border, and obviously nothing simple about the plight of you and all the people in the community. Thanks for being with us, and stay safe and strong.
Thank you.
And our correspondent Sarah Coates is down in Staya Road, not far from that kibbutz this morning here. Sarah, obviously an epicenter of the rocket attacks. So many years down there. But what's the status this morning now after the third night of rockets and sirens? What's it like there for the residents today?
Yeah, hello again, David. Well, the shops are opening and the restrictions that were put in place the other day have been lifted. But as Or mentioned, it's been another extremely dramatic night for residents here in Sderot, which is quite a large city in the south, quite close to the border. Now, as we know, 5 rockets were fired from Gaza into Israeli territory overnight, starting just after 10 p.m., sending these residents running to shelter. They only have the smallest window to actually get to shelter, David, and a number of these residents were actually injured making their way to the shelters. One of them was a pregnant woman, and they were taken to hospital in Ashkelon, but have since been released. Now, the trauma on these residents, the mental trauma really stays with them for such a long time. We were just speaking to a lady inside a bakery. She said it was a little different last night than what they're used to. She said it sounded like the rocket hit in her backyard. She said the sound was just so loud and so terrifying. So, you know, even though these residents are used to this kind of violence, which really happens on a regular basis, they also say they can't get used to it, and it's you know, it's an awful reality that they have here.
Certainly a difficult plight here, but on the Israeli side here, you mentioned some of the injuries that took place, people rushing to shelter near panic, we have to assume here. What's the IDF doing in response? What's the top-down response been so far?
Well, today the fishing zone in Gaza, David, has been completely closed off. At first, the COGAT advisor brought the fishing zone back to just a small amount of miles, but now it's been completely closed as Israel tries to put pressure on Hamas, which runs the Gaza Strip, to then tell these other factions there in the Strip, which actually have come out to claim this latest string of rocket fire, to stop firing these projectiles. Normally, the IDF, after this, goes and hits a number of Hamas terror targets in the Strip, but has sort of changed its tactic this time to, as I said, pressure Hamas and make it stop. Now, Hamas has come out saying that it has advised all of these factions there in the Strip to have their, quote, finger ready on the trigger, and Hamas says it will respond with rocket fire to any kind of aggression that's being seen or felt toward Palestinians in East Jerusalem, where, of course, we have seen around a week of demonstrations, clashes with also extreme right-wing Jews and police. So it really is a worsening situation, and security forces are on standby today in the hope that it doesn't flare up, but it has been pretty much every night, David.
Thanks for the breakdown, Sarah Coates, of the situation, and of course that look at State Road and the realities ongoing there. We jump to the studio here, defense correspondent Jonathan Regev in here with us right now. We looking at the Hamas tactics right now, some 40-some rockets hitting largely open areas, clearly intentional of Hamas not to target built-up population centers yet in this moment here, getting the attention. They've, through Egypt now, I believe, some messages put forward from Hamas about not standing in the way of the upcoming Palestinian elections, so, sort of warnings to Israel that there could be a greater flare-up still to come.
It seems as everything regards the Palestinian elections. There's no reason on the Gaza border for an escalation. The border has been relatively quiet and remained so up until Friday. Hamas is firing those rockets due to other reasons. The flare-up in Jerusalem was a great excuse for Hamas to fire those rockets, pretend to be the defender of the Palestinians as they see themselves. And now there's also the issue of the Palestinian elections, which at the moment are in danger of being cancelled by Fatah. Fatah is the one who is now looking for reasons to delay those elections, simply because Fatah is divided into 3 or maybe even 4 different factions, while Hamas seems to be getting stronger. And there's a great possibility of Hamas winning those elections if they're held. That is why Fatah is looking for reasons. What's the reason they're looking for? Of course, blame it on Israel. The fact that Israel might not allow for elections to be held in East Jerusalem, that would be the trigger for Fatah to delay the elections. And then Hamas is telling the Egyptians always mediate between Israel and Hamas. Hamas is saying if the elections are delayed due to the Israelis not allowing them to take care in East Jerusalem, there might be a greater flare-up in the region. Therefore, the Palestinian elections, as it seems, those at least for the moment, they're still planned for May the 22nd, about 3 weeks from now, 3.5 weeks. They're currently the ones bringing this flare-up, which at the moment is on a relative small scale, but could grow much bigger than that.
Thanks for the breakdown there as well. Jonathan Regev, a lot at stake.